into what we've been watching. And we're going to start with Zach. Zach, you're going to be first up. Tell us what you watched this week.
All right. This week I went to Living, the Academy Award nominee for Best Actor and Best Adapted Screenplay. Not for Best Director. That I missed on that, but I'm still glad I made that prediction because I liked it.
It was a good stab. It was a
Thank
good stab.
you. I appreciate it. I just got the wrong foreign director. I should have gone with Ruben Östlund. Anyway, Oliver Hermanus is the director, and Bill Nighy is not the science guy, Bill Nighy, but he is the actor in it. He doesn't play Billy Mack, but it is set in Britain, and it is a remake of the great Japanese film Ikiru by Kurosawa. And it tells the story of an old man who is kind of working a dead-end job at City Hall. He's been working there for a very long time. And he discovers that he has a pretty bad terminal illness. I think it's stomach cancer. It's kind of like the first episode of Breaking Bad. And so he's a little reluctant to tell everybody. But once he kind of explores this, very negative, very dire prognosis, his world starts opening up and he starts living for the first time. I think the Japanese translation of Ikiru is living, by the way. The movie is written, I got some props today. The movie is written by the novelist Kazuo Ishiguro, who wrote The Remains of the Day. I've thought about The Remains of the Day watching this movie because it is also very much a movie about stuffy white English repression, about people that can't really share their feelings with each other because, I don't know, it's just the repressed society sort of stuff. The movie's set in the 1950s, and I think Oliver Hermanus does a wonderful job of recreating that era. This is not exactly an expensive movie, but the way that maybe the filters that he uses or the costumes and some of the sets are really, really awesome. Bill Nighy is great in it. This is a well-deserved Oscar nomination, and in a way kind of an unusual one because it's much more of an internalized performance than externalized. There's no scenes where he's screaming or anything like that. He's a very quiet voice. You would not recognize the once great rock star Billy Mack in this role. It's a totally different type of performance. The movie, if you've ever seen Ikiru, it follows Ikiru pretty closely in terms of its structure. It does some formalistic things with the narrative that are kind of interesting, and I don't really want to say too much about it because it's pretty cool to see them happen. I'd kind of forgotten about the Kurosawa movie, and this movie is a pretty close translation of it. I will say the end felt a little bit too sentimental for me, whereas Kurosawa's movie is more of like an indictment of society. This movie kind of becomes a Terry movie, no offense, by the end of it. And it kind of turns a little bit into A Man Called Otto. I don't want to say how, but I think Terry would totally dig this movie for that reason. But it's still very worth seeing. Loved it. 3.5 stars. Borderline top 10 movie for me. And it would get my Bill Nighy would get my vote for Best Actor. He's terrific.
I love how you're shouting out a movie you still haven't seen.
Yes, I would assume this is better than A Man Called Otto, but is it better than the fourth best movie of the year? I don't know, but I guess we'll have to go to you to say, because it does have some striking Terry elements to it at the end.
Yeah, I watched too, right? Yeah. I saw it too, and I did when I was watching. There's a scene near the end on a train that I was like, "This is Terry's number one of the year."
Yeah,
like,
that was the worst scene in the movie. That's
exactly.
Yeah, I was like, oh, no, I'm done. But it's still a good movie. But that scene, we didn't need it.
Yeah, I really like the movie too. I give it 3.5 stars as well. And it's Bill Nighy has one of these. The way he carries himself reminded me of like when Mark Rylance like does like the best parts of what Mark Rylance does, because he has it's so underplayed, but and he's so brittle, and his voice doesn't really ever raise, and he's fascinating to watch, and it's not anything like he's ever done. I really liked Aimee Lou Wood, his co-worker.
She was great.
And yeah, she was close to making my top 5 for best supporting actress. And yeah, I mean, it's a great movie. It's a really unusual screenplay nominee, but I still think it can win because it does have a lot of those things that the Oscars do go for, like the speeches and just like genuinely great characters. But yeah, it's a really good movie. I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, I'll have to see it now. Todd informed me it was a remake of a Kurosawa, and at which point I informed him that I have never seen a Kurosawa movie.
Yeah, wow. Which I said that is quite the blind spot.
Yep, it is.
But you have seen every documentary from 2012.
I have, and 2002, and 2001,
including that one about the tree
2000.
huggers in Eugene. I mean, with
Mhm.
like 4 votes.
Pretty
So,
much.
Yeah.
If a tree falls, that's what it's called.
If a tree falls.